This is how you make an Ethernet cable. Alright, first I'll show you the tools we're using. These are Ethernet crimpers. This side has two blades. They don't close all the way, so if you want to cut something completely off, you're not going to use this side. This side actually comes down on a hard surface, so you can cut it. We're not going to use this side at all today. Here are small dikes, Ethernet tester, and we have some Cat 6 unshielded twisted pair cable right here. Alright, now another part of these clippers is this little round. You see this little rounded part right here. Not all clippers have this, but this one does. You can see that the blade overhangs this slightly. So the first thing we're going to do is score. Not going to cut all the way through because we don't want to cut any of our wires. So we're going to put a little bit of pressure on there, in about that much, and we're just going to score it, not cut it all the way through. So once it's scored, then you just grab it really tightly and you twist, and you should be able to pull it off. Okay. Now on the inside, we have this ripcord right here, which we're going to cut off. We have 4 sets of twisted pair, which I'm going to spread off in opposite directions. Okay. Now the first thing we want to do is to cut off our ripcord. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to stand on the cable with this foot, that way I can pull up on it. Okay. Be careful not to cut any of your wires. Cut that off. Now this center part, I've only ever seen this on Cat 6 cable. But what we're going to do is, since we're still standing on our cable, we can pull it up a little bit and stretch it and cut it, and then because we stretched it when we cut it, it went back down inside of itself. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to untwist all of our twisted pairs. So all these are twisted clockwise, so we're going to untwist them all counterclockwise. Alright. So after you as you untwist them, you want to straighten them. Okay. So the green one right here, we untwist that, and you don't really have to worry about putting them in order right now, but you can see you want to try to get as many of these waves out as possible. You can either do it like that, or you can just it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, here's one that I've already straightened. Okay, now once you get them all straightened like this, then you want to put them in order. Now the standard pattern for a regular Cat 5 cable, not a crossover, just a standard straight through, is orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. Now if you put that pattern on both sides, you'll have a regular cable. Now for a crossover cable, use the same pattern on one side, but on the other side, put green, white, green, orange, white, blue, blue, white, orange, brown, white, brown. Okay? So what we'll do is, I like to start with the blue ones because that's your middle two. Alright, just go ahead and straighten those like that. Alright, then we work on our oranges. So we got orange, white, orange. Okay. Now you remember I said that these were all wrapped clockwise, so we're going to unscrew them counterclockwise. So if you go like this, you'll make sure that you don't, it unscrews it down into the sleeve. Okay. So orange, white, orange. Then we got green, white, blue, blue, white, green, and now I got brown, white, brown. I always do the greens last. Okay. So I start with my middle two. Alright, and now my green, I can see that they're on the wrong side, so I remember that they're wound clockwise, so we go counterclockwise to unscrew it within the sleeve. Okay, did I do that right? Orange, white, orange, yeah, I did that right. Okay, so orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. Okay, now what we want to do is once we get them in order, you want to hold them like that. And basically pinch them so they don't jump over each other. Just straighten them out as much as possible. Now once you get them like that, or all together, a good way to get out any twists or make them straight, is you pinch them like this and you just basically go like this a little bit. That'll straighten them right up. Okay? Now what you want to do is just clip them all off like that. Okay. Now this little piece right here is part of our connector. This is the inner part of this particular brand of connector. Alright, now the way this is it's kind of like, I don't know if you can see this, but this end is sticking up like a shoe, I guess, the toe of a shoe, and this would be like the leg part. But the important thing is, on one side of this there's actually slots. Okay, this is important because the connector has these little brass bits that cut into the wire when you crimp it, and you want to make sure that these slots are facing up towards the brass connector. Otherwise, the connectors wouldn't be able to go between them and pierce the wire. All right. Now, it's important when we got the cable like this, you can make a mistake. You can put this on this way or this way. I always work with the brass facing me. You know, it's just an easy way to make sure you don't put it on backwards. All right. So I always work with the brass facing me. I always work with the orange on my left and the brown on my right. Okay. So I'll put this with the slots facing up over the cable. And before I do anything else, I'm going to make sure no cables jumped out of place. Orange, white, orange. Green, white, blue. Blue, white, green. Brown, white, brown. Okay, that looks great. So I'll push this in as far as it'll go. It's okay if it springs back a little bit. I'm going to cut off the remaining. Alright. Now, sometimes you want to clean it up a little bit more. That's fine. Okay. Now we take our connector, remember brass facing you, and you push it on there. It should push all the way in. And once it's pushed all the way in, then you crimp it. Okay? Stick it in there. Bam. It's a perfect Cat 5 or Cat 6 Ethernet cable.